And we are live. We have one viewer. Who's joining us tonight? Shoot, I don't have my phone to start sharing that stuff. Um, look, I do have mine. Let's see here. Everyone, bear with us. You know how we are. And if you see all this smoke, see, I am witchcrafted some shit in here to hopefully send out all of my technical issues. So, got candles going, incense going, drinking a little witchy tea. So that's how my night's going. Who's joined us tonight? Say hello so we know you're there.
All right, I shared it to the group and it's already sharing on the main spirit
All right.
page.
Okay, I've got to get there. I'm still learning to work the new iPad. Tom, how you're sick? I was thinking about you earlier, Tom, and I was going to call you. And honest to goodness, I had that feeling that, you know what? He's been awfully quiet. He might be sick, and I might need to leave him alone. So I'm glad to see that you've joined us here tonight. Um, you'll have to let me know what's going on with you. When you're well enough, I will call you.
Oh no.
You have COVID. Oh my God, Tom. No. Bless your heart. Well, I hope
We're
you
sending you all
get over
sorts of
this crap.
healing energy.
Yes, we are. And we will let the rest of the team know that you have COVID, and we all need to pray and send good juju and healing vibes and all that stuff. I'll even do a special thing for you. So let me. I think I shared it, but hell, I don't know. I may be sharing it again. In Messenger, we need to get it in the Robin. Let's see who else is awake that we want to send it to. Um, y'all bear with us. Jess, you want to go ahead with our waiver
Yes, we want to let y'all
while
know
we're
that
sending out?
anything we might or might not talk about this evening, we do not think that our opinions are correct and your opinions are wrong. Ours may differ from yours, but we respect your right to your opinion as well. And we ask that you respect our right to our opinion. Um, we're not saying that our beliefs are correct. We're not saying that our opinions are correct. We're not saying that our religious views are correct. We are saying that these are our opinions on those things. We'll respect yours if you respect ours, but we don't intend any sort of insult. We just have eternally curious minds and we question everything, including our own religion and our own views and beliefs. We're constantly evolving and changing as people, and, you know, curious is something we always stay.
And that's what makes us good investigators, is because we
True.
question everything. Which brings us to our topic tonight. We are talking about some of the myths and
Misconceptions surrounding the
misconceptions.
paranormal and paranormal investigation.
So the first one, hey Janae, how are you? Y'all excuse me too with the mucus. I'm still battling the crud that I had. Jess is still in the midst of her battle. Whatever this crud we've had is just hanging on, hanging on, hanging on.
Hmm.
So, if I mute to cough, blow, I'm doing that. Did I don't think I shared it. Would you share it in Things Network, Jess? I don't think I shared it in there.
In the
I didn't get to.
chat.
Yeah, we always forget to do that. I think like Sam and Irene, and they're. Sorry, Jesse. We're just letting folks know.
Yes, because I don't have a very easy to get to mute button because I use a headset with mic. So sometimes I can click to mute myself. Sometimes I can't.
Right. And so yeah, we're just trying to give everybody fair warning that we don't mean to be gross with our bodily functions. Up there's our See, look, y'all, we got our first troll, and I have my troll back here. That's supposed to be our only troll for the night, but we're gonna get rid of this one.
It happens.
Oh, did you got it? You
Yeah, I
got
got
it.
it. It happens.
Well, we love the trolls. Right,
We
right.
appreciate
So,
that,
yeah,
Jax,
tonight,
but we always like to cover it to begin with, anyways. So, just in case, head off
right,
some
right.
of
We
the
just, oh,
miscommunications
and
in the
before we
past.
get too far off, right. And before we get too far into the show, we want to, of course, always send out the big thank you to Things Network for allowing us to be here. Um, we're always very grateful that someone wants to have us and show our silliness, but we're not always silly. Sometimes we can be serious. We also want to let Jeremy, the founder of Things, know that we're still sending him well wishes and prayers and love and support. You're on our mind every day. So we hope you're continuing your healing and everything is going well for you.
Yes.
And so, with that being said, we'll jump off here to the misconceptions and myths about paranormal. I guess the biggest one that I find is investigating at night only. So,
Yes.
everybody has their theory on investigating during the day because let's face it, we'll get clients, that call us and say, this happens. And when we say, well, we want to come in and investigate at night, well, they say, well, I seen this during the day. Well, yes, I understand that you see it during the day. And it's not that I'm saying ghosts are only active at night. For us as investigators, because I know myself here, my ghost lamp, as we've talked about, sometimes, it would come on all day, all day, all day. It wouldn't have nothing to do with whether it was day or night. Since we moved into this house, we have not heard what we refer to as the office phone ringing. It was like an old fashioned phone. I think I've told you about that,
Hmm.
Jess. I even asked Lenny the other day, have you heard the office phone? He said, no, I hadn't heard it in a while. So we've not heard that, but that was always during the day, that we heard that. So I'm not saying that activity does not exist during the day. But for us as investigators, the world is quieter at night. So it's easy. We don't hear the traffic, depending on where you live. And just left me hanging here. I guess
No, I'm still here.
she may
I'm
have
still
some
here.
bodily.
No, I'm still here. I
Okay.
just had to turn the cam
Um,
off.
I got you. I got you. So, anyway, for us, for me as an investigator, I don't even want to speak for my whole team on this, but for me as an investigator, it's easier if the world is quiet. There's not traffic going by. There's not as many trains or airplanes or
Well, and it's
and when
like,
there
and
is
it's
something
also
like
like
that,
Jax right here says, though I know a lot of y'all can't see it because it is on YouTube. Um, Someone could yell out a name, you might not even hear it if there's enough noise, if it's during the day.
right, right,
It's easier to hear and see
right,
when the
right,
world is calm.
right, and that's what I was gonna say. Like at night, if we're investigating 11, 12 o'clock at night, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, and we hear a big rumble or something. Well, when we go back and listen to audio, we go, oh, what, we could tell that that was a plane or a train or a semi truck or but during the day when you've got all that going on, it pollutes your audio really, really bad.
Hmm.
So that's just that was my thing I wanted to say about our first myth or misconception about paranormal investigation. I don't doubt that activity happens during the day. I've seen it, heard it, not seen it, but heard it myself in my own home during the day. And I would say probably most of the paranormal activity that happened in my own home has been during the day when all of us have been awake and active and because let's just face it, around here we all sleep like damn rock. So if it happens, and they're really going to have to do something at night.
Hmm.
Other than the ghost lamp, we'd walk out at night and it would be on. And there was a lot of nights that I even questioned, was it the ghost or was it a cat?
Yeah.
Because if I wasn't, if I'm not in the room, I can't say that the cat didn't walk across it and turn it on. So at night when the lamp come on, unless we could verify that a cat wasn't in the room, I will say that I have touched it with cat paws, and the cat paws do not turn it on. But I still, that skeptical person inside of me still said, well, maybe there was some way, maybe it touched with two paws, or maybe an ear and a paw at the same,
Yeah.
So when the light came on at night, I didn't chalk that up as being any kind of
Well,
paranormal
and my
activity.
experience that
Could be,
made
maybe
me
not.
interested in the paranormal occurred during the day. So, when I
Hmm.
was a teenager.
Right. So,
And Jax is right.
let me try
Night
to.
just seems scarier. It's just because it's quiet and dark. And humans
Right. So, I
always
would
fear
like
the dark.
to acknowledge, is Jack's loss. Is Jack's Law, is this someone that we know personally, or is this someone we've picked up new? It's got to be from the things YouTube,
Yeah.
because our spirit YouTube is still questionable.
Yeah.
So, welcome to the show, Jax. Thanks for joining us here. We always like to have new viewers, new points of
Hmm.
view are always welcome. And I'm just catching up on the comments here.
I think, and to build off that one, maybe something that's kind of in the same vein, that only old buildings and old homes are haunted, and that's just not true.
No, absolutely not.
A
Um,
new building or a new home can be haunted, and it doesn't even have to be by an old ghost that like haunted the land. It can be by a new ghost
Right.
or an old
Well, and I have
ghost.
to, throw this out there as far as, I'm going to plug Spirit, and y'all scan our little thingy at the top of your screen there, and you go to our webpage and check all of us out and all that, what we do, who we are. But well, things are objects haunted. So if objects are truly haunted, and we're not here saying they are, or they are not, that is something that we are studying our team right now as a team. So we're looking for haunted objects. If you have one, you want us to check it out, send it to us, and we'll be happy to pay the shipping and to get it and to return it to you if you want it back. And if you don't want it back, you got something that you want to get rid of, send it to us. And if we get enough haunted items, we may put together like a little haunted, museum, YouTube live something show once a week or something with the haunted items that we just don't know. So far, we have gotten some camera equipment donated to us that the people that owned it believed that were haunted. So far, it's not done anything, but they did tell us it took about a year for it to pick up in their home. So we are studying it, we're researching it. So, but back to, what we're talking about, could new homes, new buildings be haunted? Well, absolutely, because in theory, if things are haunted, then could you bring in something, um, about, or something in the building that's haunted, and cause the building to be haunted? Or, another thing, people themselves haunted, which I believe, myself, this is just my belief. I believe that people themselves can carry entity with them, whether, it's their spirit guide, their grandmother, their mom, their dad, their, whatever. Um, I would just, you know, I think that there's a possibility that people are haunted. So if you, a person's in the building that's haunted, so, or the new home that's haunted, then it would absolutely be haunted. Oops, my screen blipped there for a minute.
Okay. Um, question,
Huh?
Jax. What do you mean? Who do you think um didn't like one of us? Anyways, we'll continue talking and give them time to answer because I'm not sure what that's meaning.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. Right, Kate, possession, I think, is a completely different thing. I think, there's hauntings and then possessions. Yeah, of course, a possession is, in theory, something takes over your body. So, um, I would say, if someone's possessed and they're in the house or the building or it didn't, yeah, it's probably going to seem to be haunted too.
True, but I think it we more mean like it's almost like when you have a haunted object, the typically the spirit is attached to the object but not literally only living inside of it, and I think the same applies to people being haunted. It's not that the spirit is inside of them or possessing them, it's more that they're attached and it follows them
Just
around.
hanging out with
That
them.
may mean that, oh, I think my house is haunted. No, it's not
Right.
your house.
And we've actually had a case recently that we believe that it was actually one of the people living in the home and not necessarily the home itself.
Though
And that's
it
the
was a
homeowners,
little
were
different.
yeah, the homeowners, insisted that the house wasn't that old, and we explained to him that the house doesn't have to be that old, but in the end of our investigation, we as a team felt that it was one of the people living in the home.
Absolutely.
Right, right.
Hmm. Oh, we'll talk about that later, Terry. I think.
Right. Well, maybe they're talking about us getting kicked off YouTube and um things. Yeah,
I don't know.
who knows? So, um, yeah, that we're a little bit unclear, Jax, on what you may be referring to there, and forgive us if it's communication error on our part. And hello, Irene, welcome to the show, and we still want to get with you. We have not been just neglecting that. Well, we have, Irene. We've been neglecting that,
But due to
but
us
as
being
you know,
sick,
everyone
though.
just been sick and everything. Here lately, it's been questionable if we would even make it on the show. So
Yeah, this is
we
true.
didn't want to like book you to be on. We don't want to book you to be on with us and then us not even be able to show up. So, um, uh, yeah, we're gonna let Jess get well, and we also want to get our YouTube back up and running. And before we get really interesting guests on the show, so that everybody has the option to see it. So and so and Irene is actually, so we know while we're kind of on haunted subjects and myths of stuff. Um, uh, Irene and I have talked about some haunted objects, some mirrors and dolls and stuff. So I would say wherever these objects are, if there's paranormal activity, it's gonna make it seem like the place is haunted. So even if the place is a brand new apartment building that was just built near the first person that ever lived
There could be
there.
objects inside of it that are
So
haunted that are going to make it seem like they're haunted. There could be a person in there that has a ghost
right,
attached to them. That's going to make it seem like it's haunted. Or
right, or the
it could be
property
built on
itself.
land that is
Yeah,
haunted. So, And I don't know why my
or it could,
camera is
just
being
be
so
what I
odd.
refer
By the
to.
way, I know that I keep jumping between being almost
You're,
oversaturated and
you're
red.
looking like the devil.
Yes, I don't know why my camera is doing that. Like, I really have no idea. It just keeps popping between oversaturated and undersaturated, and I can't figure out why. So, I will look into that.
Tonight,
Promise that I
she's the
am
devil.
not. Promise I am not possessed. I don't think.
Oh, that's what it is. We're watching a live
Yeah,
possession.
you're, yeah.
Live
Live
possession
possession.
right
No.
here from on the Spirit
Remind me to
Team
get the
on the Things
Vapocool
Network.
Dayquil and perform a home exorcism.
So, um, and I get I had a damn thought there that I was going to go somewhere, and I forgot where the hell I was even
Well,
going.
Irene's been to a lot of places where I think she said she had been to a museum with a lot of the things from some of the atomic bombs and the stuff like that. Um,
Right.
so I would imagine there are some haunted objects that come out of those places.
Absolutely. I'm, by God, I do believe, myself. I've not seen it, but I believe that um, objects can definitely. And dude, Jackson, something about a thrift store, and that made me think that, somebody told us about that, and we definitely need to do
Hmm.
that when we can. Just, we'll have to go really early one morning, maybe before everybody else is out, and go check out some stuff at the thrift stores.
Hmm. I agree.
So, I want to jump back to one of the other, and I may get some hate on this one about one of the
Uh
other
oh.
myths of, or I don't, myth, misconception, whatever you want to call it, on paranormal. This is more about investigating tools of investigation.
Oh.
So the flashlight, yeah, the flashlight theory. As everybody's seen, where I think that some of the shows, I don't want to call and say, but Zach, because I don't know, but where they do, they put the little flashlight on, and they see, if the flashlight comes on, and that, ooh, that if it does, then that means the ghost turned it on. We've got confirmed activity. And Jess, I don't know that you and I have ever even talked about this and
Mm-mm.
why I don't do this.
I am
Because,
honestly a little bit hesitant to believe anything that has to do with a flashlight. Whether it's, oh, it made the flashlight flicker because it was pulling energy. I'm not saying that's not true. I'm saying that it is virtually unprovable.
right, well, we had an incident, at the grits mill, and you were standing there and heard that flashlight click on and come
Yes.
on.
Yes.
That was a push button flashlight.
Mm-hmm.
That's a completely different entity than what I'm talking about.
Yes.
You'll see, and a team that I trained
Well, and that
with, and I'll
involves
just leave it
audio evidence too. You can audibly hear it click and see that there is no one around. It's a little
right,
different.
right. So I mean, yeah, that was a completely different thing there. So the like I was saying, a team that I trained with, um, they did when we all got together, one of the first times, in person meetings, the one of the members, did the flashlight thing. And, you take the flashlight, the twist on, and you make it where it almost comes on, just where you can bump the, barely tap it and it'll come on, and you set it down. And theory is, if you ask the ghost to light it up and it lights up, it's the ghost. So, okay, I fell into this. I was like, oh my God, do you see all this activity? Holy, and if you would have seen, if we, I'm so glad I deleted that audio off my recorder a long time ago, because I probably would just kick myself in the ass because I sounded like a fucking fool. There you go. Go ahead and start your number one, Jess. We got a whole, what is it? 25 minutes into 25 and 20 seconds into the
Yeah, but
show,
it's always a
and I didn't drop an F
downhill.
bomb. So I just,
It's always just real rapid
yep,
downhill
it's
once the
downhill
first one
after
comes
that.
out.
So anyway, I probably would feel like, that I was kicking myself in the ass if I listened to that audio because I fell into that flashlight theory. Well, I asked these people, do y'all recommend any books? And there wasn't really anything that they could recommend when, we left that training um, trip that time. So I did what I do and I, went and dug up and I read some books myself, found some stuff to read. And one of the things I read, and I apologize that I don't remember the name, I let someone borrow the book and I don't think I ever got it back. But this guy made a lot of sense. And my past is in photography and developing and film, and so I'm really good with that stuff, pictures, and and identifying, and knowing if it's a light floor, things like that. I was trained to look at that stuff in photography long before I was a paranormal investigator. So this guy made a lot of sense in the photography aspect, and all. So when I, reading all his theories, when he talked about the flashlight theory, this made perfectly good sense to me. I am not a scientist. I don't know anything about electricity and all that. But y'all remember we did the experiment in seventh grade where you take two wires and the batteries, and when you bring them and they, send a little magnet, a little electric spark to one another. Well, he talked about because it's the same thing in that battery in that flashlight. When you're making that slightest connection, so, it's a matter of does it spark or not? Is it just getting enough connection between the two feeds to cause a little spark to cause a. So that was his way of saying if you want to call it paranormal activity, you call it paranormal activity. But he, as an investigator, didn't call that. And when I read that, I thought, well, okay, that doubt is now in my head. I can never use the flashlight theory.
What book was that? What's the name of that
That's
book?
why we use click flashlights. Jess, I'll have to go back and I know I ordered it on
Is it
Amazon and I will go find
is
what
it
I ordered.
Ghostology?
It's a green book.
I have that.
No, no,
I have the green book.
I
It's
don't think. Is it? It may have been. What's the guy's name that wrote it?
hold please.
Okay, yeah, show us the book. Yes, exactly, Irene. I miss the days of negatives because, and that's I tell everybody on my team, if you send me a picture, don't send me a damn cropped. I want the original picture. I don't want it cropped. I want to see the original pictures. And let me go get caught up on everybody's comments here while Jess is um doing her thing.
I'm still here. Oh, and to
Um,
answer Jax,
I think
no.
yeah, you're looking for your book.
To answer Jax, no, that part doesn't scare us. Not really.
Really, I'm just see. I just caught Jesse saying that there's a line at the thing. Yeah, yeah, that's it.
I'm the one that has that.
Oh,
That would be your copy.
well, I knew that I let somebody borrow it.
Yeah.
Oh, well, there you go. What did you ever read it?
About halfway through, and then I put it down
Well,
and
yeah,
haven't finished.
he and then I think he probably talks about that flashlight theory, like towards the end when he's kind of going through debunking, talk about it. It's he's not the most interesting to read, but he did make some really good points, on because my background is in photography and stuff. I was really into that, and we've had questionable, you know, and I guess that's another one of the myths, misconceptions of investigation is um, pictures in reflective surfaces, as an investigator. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah, we're
on
pretty.
my team, you know, it's really going to have to be something that really just jumps. I know to never say never because
Well, and
things
when
can
if
happen.
we're
And
looking
yes,
at
I know.
something that's for us or for like when we were at Graceland, if we had seen something in a reflective surface photograph, then we would not call it proof, but we would definitely take it. It would definitely make us look closer. Um, so it's a little different when we're in personal spaces. But when it comes to if we are looking at, if we've been called in to look at, like we were with the grist mill, a business, if we've been called to look at a person's personal home, we don't ever consider, unless it is, like she said, it would have to be jumping out at us, like obvious. We don't count it as
Yeah,
proof.
and
And we,
there's no
even
way that
then,
we could debunk it.
we would not say, hey, this is proof. We would say,
And even
hey,
then, yes, we would still
we
say
can't say yay or nay, but this is a little, this
it.
is something.
Right, and I'll go back to what Jack said here about yeah, you don't need, that's the magnetic vibration
Hmm.
between the wires,
Well, and
on the
electricity
flashlight.
can
And that's
jump. Look
the
at,
guy in the book explains that too,
yeah.
a hell of a lot better than I did. But when I read it, it was like, oh, well, that made perfectly good sense. And like I said, now that that doubt's in my head, I can never
Hmm.
trust that. And I would feel like a fucking idiot going back listening to that audio from my first training trip because I fell for that flashlight thing, hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah.
I mean, and don't forget your F bomb counter there, Jess.
What number are we at? Two.
Two, two. I really am trying to be better behaved, just in case.
Well,
That's
that's
why we've been
boring.
kicked off of Well, but we've been kicked off of YouTube and, just trying to be a better fucking person.
See, that's what I want to hear.
That's what you want right there. Um, right. I agree with that. Irene, that it takes them a lot of energy to, do things like that. So, yeah, when it now I will say we have little battery operated motion detector lights, and it does not happen on every investigation. One of the investigations at Graceland of Alabama, let me throw that out there. Graceland's not Elvis's home.
Yes.
Graceland of Alabama, we use those little motion lights. And those things, I mean, you could tell somebody was walking in front of us because they would go ping, ping, ping. We had three of them, and they would just light up, all the way down the line, ping, ping, ping. And this happened all night long. But that was them, not, they didn't take any energy for them to do that. They were just walking,
Right.
moving around, doing their thing.
Well, and the
But
motion lights
we've
are
used those
also
things many
really
times since
useful
then.
for us to determine the location of activity as well.
Right, right. Yeah, but those things have not been as active on any investigation, including that location, since that night. That night they were, that first time they were super active. And then, it kind of made you question, well, was it bugs or whatever? But we've kind of, debunked all that. So it was, real activity that was going on. Um, these little motion detector thing, they're probably, $2, $3 a piece. Some of the best equipment we've ever gotten, because we got the things with the lights and the bells and the whistles and all that. But, and here, because we're on this subject, it's kind of goes along with the equipment, investigating and stuff. All that stuff with lights and bells and whistles, we use them. We have REM pods, we have K2 meters, but in reality, we know our cell phones set those off. If you get the K2 meter too close to the REM pod, it's going to set that off. So when these things are lighting up and beeping and going off, the investigator in me still questions. I still question, is it a bug? Is it really something? So, even with all the money I've dumped into the equipment, I don't take that equipment at face value. For me, a PE is the best equipment you're going to have. And if you don't know what I'm talking about with a PE, that is personal experience. Yourself, your body, your feelings, your intuition. When you walk in, does the hair on the back of your neck stand up? Does the hair on your arm stand up? Um, your personal experience is, for me, the best piece of equipment that you're going to have. And I'm just going to put that out there. Everyone, I'm sure, again, has their own thoughts and beliefs on that. But, I truly 100% believe that, now don't get me wrong. My second, best piece of equipment is your digital voice recorder. Yeah, because if you're in that room and you're a good investigator, then you're you're announcing any noises that you're hearing at the time in real time, so that when you go back and you listen to that audio, if you pick up something that you didn't timestamp on the audio, then okay, what is that? And sometimes I've got, ghosts or entities or spirits, whatever you want to call them, on audio. I've got a very clear help me. I've got um the very clear die, and then under that, there was another unaudible sentence. What is she doing here? Why is she here? Something like that. And then that it sounds like in real time. These things, we know no one else was there. We were in a secluded location. I mean, so I've got some things on audio that are great, solid evidence. Um, I've got some pretty good orbs and stuff on pictures. I've got I had a picture from one investigation that was just this thing, and I won't even describe it here, but it was a pretty freaky looking thing. And when we went, and two other team members seen this picture. It was not just me that seen it. We seen it. We took it from my memory card. Of course, we didn't take it off. We just, copied it to my computer, and then we copied it to another team member's computer. When we went to do the reveal to show the client, that picture was gone. And so that was a really freaky thing. And I've had, my tech guy has gone through my computer, and he's like, my God, you got so many pictures. So to know me and to know how many pictures I have, I know how to save pictures. So it wasn't something that I did to delete it, because even if I would have deleted it off my memory card and my computer, it was still going off of his computer too. And when I found it, I woke them up. We're in the hotel room, and I woke them up. Y'all, look at this. And I mean, it was a really freaky looking picture. So the best photo evidence I ever got fucking disappeared. So I I take photo evidence with a grain of salt now, kind of too, because fuck, you may go back and it may be gone. Yeah. So personal experience, for me is the best thing. So Jess, I've been blabbing my mouth here, so chime
No,
in
you're
on your
fine.
feelings
No, I
about
agree.
this too.
I agree with most of what you said. Oh, thank you very much. Let me help. Cade's a paid actor. Um,
Right, right. Got Kate in the background there, making sure we keep Jess on her toes.
yeah, yeah. Um, I agree for the most part. I hesitate with photography evidence, photographical evidence rather. English is a thing. Um, because I have seen some of the most realistic looking photos, and they're simply photoshopped. So many things can be done with Photoshop now. And if I took the picture myself and I know 100%, you know, this has not been tampered with, then yes, I'll believe my own photo evidence. But I also don't typically present it to someone else's proof because, like, again, it is so easily faked. Exactly.
Right, right, and yes, that is the
Hmm.
for my old photography soul, who loved film and being in the dark room, you know, um,
Even with film,
I
sometimes
I
you can
still
get
have
double
I still have
exposed
a 30.
negatives.
You can get double, but you can tell on the negative. I mean, I can tell on the negative.
Well, you can. Not
Um,
everybody can,
I
though.
do have a 35 millimeter. Right, which that's I'm going to get to that, because Irina says bring, and I do have two 35 millimeter cameras still, and I do take them on investigation sometimes, and nowadays, sorry y'all, I've been feeling that coming for a long time, um, and the dogs are barking. Um, Nowadays, it's really hard to find like a 1 hour photo somewhere where you can go get your film developed. So you have to send it off and all that. But I do tell them, do not cut my negatives because I want to see my negative just the way it came out of that machine when they developed it.
Hmm.
Um, because I don't care what that picture shows me, I'm looking at my negatives when I get my negatives back.
Yeah.
That's how old school I am, because I know even when in developing that if your chemicals aren't right, I mean, for people that don't understand all that process, if your chemicals aren't right, if somebody didn't test the chemicals that day and they just turned on the machine and you don't know what the fuck you're going to get on those actual prints.
Yep.
So I want to look at my negative. And now they can blow your negatives in developing too. There's no question there. But you're going to see that, immediately. And it's not going to be, you know, one picture on it's going to be the whole negative is going to be
Well,
blown.
and for
Which is
somebody
why I go look at my negatives immediately.
as someone who I grew up in a particular little section of time where I both remember without technology and with. I grew up in a poor town. So even though maybe some of the more rich areas did have personal computers and things like that, we did not. We didn't even all have TVs in our rooms. We had one in the living room. So I used cameras, actual film cameras. That is what I used. Both film cameras, Polaroid cameras, and everything past that. But even though
Right.
I did use film cameras and have had many, many photos developed, I'm not a photography person. So I don't actually know how to tell anything when I'm looking at the film. So,
If you looked at your negatives, you would. I mean, and really, it's really, you can get like a little magnifying glass and look at them on a light table. I mean, and your negative, I mean, you know what a negative picture is going to look like. But like, let's just say there's an entity there, you're going to see the entity on the negative.
true.
Now, a lot of times in old school photography, when you would get orbs, people would go, "Oh, look, orb, orb, orb." I could probably, I mean, I've got millions of pictures. Excuse me, y'all. Um, I could probably find some that have been, badly developed and find orbs, but really what they are is like chemical bubbles in the developing process. So if you see that, then you have to go look, did they bubble my negative or is it bubble on the paper? Because it's two separate processes. They develop your negatives and then they put it on paper, and then that has to go through developing. So hopefully it's a bad developing on the paper end and your negative is okay, and a lot of times other things on, dust if they're not real careful
Yeah,
and they have a little
anything.
hair or something,
Well,
you
and
know.
anything that has a
Yeah,
flash can pick up dust
right,
and make it look like
right,
orbs. Anything that has a
right.
flash, be it cell phone, like one of the newest iPhones, or if it is a 35 millimeter camera, if it has a flash, it can make dust look brighter and make it look like orbs in the photo. Oh, lovely.
Yeah, and um, we have us another troll, troll,
Yep, I got
troll.
it.
My little troll over there is the only troll allowed. We will axe the trolls.
Yes.
So yeah, film speed is like Irene was saying, 1600, 1200, anything above an 800 is great to use on investigation, but it's really hard to because it's so sensitive, it's so fast, and you have to adjust, make sure everything is adjusted right, and best to be used on a tripod, and um, so, we did as a team buy us some little Wi-Fi. And I don't, my computer, I don't know if I'm blinking out to y'all, but my computer will just go black and then come back. So I hope it's not doing the same thing to y'all. But we did get these little Wi-Fi cameras that we can watch live.
Hmm.
And, we're going to be interested to see, because a lot of people are, pick up activity from these home security cameras. I see it in these paranormal groups all the time. What is this? What is this? Generally, I watch it long enough to determine it's a spider web. It'll have the same trail, the same motion. But them spider webs can really light up
This
them
is true. And you
security
know what? And
cameras
they can light
and
up
make
in
it
the
look
photo
like,
cameras as
there's
well.
something.
I have seen one.
Oh, yeah, and they
Ooh.
can look, yeah, they can legitimately make it look like something is there.
Hmm.
So,
I mean, that's not the
always check for spider
person
webs.
who found took the picture's fault. It's not that they're, oh, I'm pretending this is
Right,
a
yeah,
spider. It
right.
looks like it.
Oh, when you're seeing this, the one the one that comes to my mind, was a security camera in a nursery, and this thing was traveling. The person, I think it was the mother, but I don't want to say, it could have been someone else. They had posted, asking, "What is this?" And the thing like trailed, and it looked like that it was going down in the crib. Like this is the bottom of the baby's crib. It looked like it was coming down, traveling across the bottom, and then coming back up and going back, and it was and if you watched it, it did this over and over and over and over, and that's a spider web, and I piped
Not
in, I told him,
necessarily a web,
and you
but it
may
is
not
a
believe this,
string of spider silk, rather.
a string,
So it's
yeah,
not an
and
actual
that's what I
web, it's a
said, I'm not
string.
right, as I told when I commented on it, I told him, I said, I'm not saying your house is dirty, but go look and see if you don't see a little spider web somewhere. It's going to be either on that crib or around that camera. And I think she did actually come back and say that it was just a little hanging from the ceiling
Hmm.
that the camera was picking up, and just the motion. They determined themselves that the motion that they were seeing was when their air conditioning was cutting on and off.
Oh, nice. Well, here's one that
So
I
yeah, they
found.
debunked their own ghost,
There
and
you
that
go.
happens a lot.
And
Hello,
hello,
Rosie.
Rosie.
Thank you for joining us tonight.
And one that I found when I was doing my research on other, paranormal misconceptions basically was that any home or business that does contain a spirit is considered haunted, and it begs the question, if your home or business contains spiritual activity, is it just that spiritual activity, or is it haunted? Because a lot of people say that it becomes a haunting when your everyday life is affected by the paranormal goings on. Basically, what do you think?
I really like that term of spiritual activity
It's that,
versus
your home does
haunted. I
have spiritual
really like
activity.
that.
And I
You know, and
found that
so
really interesting the way they put it.
right, well, and
Because it makes
like
sense.
in one of our investigations when I had to explain, to the owners about what I call floaters. And I'll say again, that is not a paranormal term, that is a Terry term. But spiritual activity would be a better way of putting
Hmm.
floaters, is that, yeah, they're just, you know, coming around to visit or, check out, maybe the land or maybe check out the home or fuck,
Or
maybe they
maybe
just want
they're
to get in your
just,
refrigerator and have
or
something to eat. You know?
or is it an echo? We have come across some where it's like they're repeating a pattern, not
Right,
really intelligent response type of
right,
activity, but they're repeating a pattern, be it a moment they had during their life or their death or anything like that. Oh, thank you.
right,
Thank you, Jesse.
right. So, and we'll go back with Jesse. I put up and I know we flash go backwards a little bit, but that's because when I read the comments, dust in the room, is a real big common thing for orbs. The For us as a team, the way we tell, does it project its own light? Is it, and then if you catch it once, you catch it again. Like I've got some orbs that I actually followed these orbs from inside the house to outside the house to up in the sky. So, when you can capture something like that, then that's a true orb. But if it's just, a little in the corner of
If
your
you can't
picture
repeat
or
it
down at
or
Aunt
follow
Irene's
it,
feet at the.
then we would not consider it.
And I will say that that is the good thing about digital, because that night when I was following that orb, I was able to take the picture, see it, and go, "Holy fuck!" Yeah, and keep so I could see it, live. Because I wasn't seeing it with my eyes, but I could see it in the picture. So
And
I
I
was
think
able to
Rosie has a good
follow it up and
point.
out to the sky.
Rosie has a
So
good
that
point
was.
as well. It depends on the intentions, whether it's a haunting, and I do kind of agree with that as well.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Let's just say, for example, just I hate to keep going on this case, but our most recent client case, you know, we determined that that was probably one of the people in the home that was haunted. But did that energy perhaps bring on, take it from a spiritual activity to a haunting?
Or did the energy that she was projecting, and I'm not going to go too into detail or speak on that,
Right,
but
right.
or did the energy that she was creating and projecting, did it was it attracted
Draw in.
to drawing, was it drawing something in? Not
Right,
saying that there was not some sort of
right.
spiritual activity from an actual spirit or something of the sort, but the best we could figure, it was emanating from one of the people in the home, from their own person,
Right.
not
Feeding.
not that
Right.
not that they had a spirit attached to them, but that this energy was emanating from them.
Exactly. So, not to say that, that person was haunted, but, I do believe
It might be me.
that
I didn't think about that. Fan was
that
probably
you
blowing all
can,
the way.
if you're just a negative, hateful person all the fucking time, you're gonna bring in bad energy. And does that mean that you're haunted or your house is haunted? I don't think so. It just means that you're an evil fucker and your evil fuckiness is coming to back to bite you in the ass. Sorry. just the way it is in my world. D- I know
Glad you can hear everything.
Jesse. Um, yeah,
And
it's
what do
the
you mean
same
by
way over here.
PKE, Rosie?
PKE.
Not sure.
Are you talking about when I said it? PE, personal experience, and there's Robin. Fuck yeah!
Who needs to clear this shadow
Welcome,
energy?
Robin.
Us or the person that we investigated for? Because I definitely agree. As for my
Right,
energy, I
right.
cleanse my energy fairly regularly.
Oh, psychokinetic energy.
Ah,
Gotcha,
okay.
gotcha. Oh, sorry, Jesse. Um, I try to mute myself because I do know that you can hear the ice in the cup, and it sounds in my head like it's just booming.
Yeah. Um, let's see. What was another one? Um, that is like if you're seeing a shadow, shadow person, a shadow that they are.
Rosie, that's exactly pretty much what we
Yes.
determined. Sorry, Jess.
We. I don't think
Um,
I
that was
didn't.
pretty much what we determined.
I'm still learning a lot of the terminology and stuff, so I was not aware of that particular term, psychokinetic energy, but that makes sense. Um,
I'd heard of it, but yeah, I wasn't
I didn't.
putting
I
it all
didn't.
together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but yes, that's essentially what was happening. Um, but yeah, saying a spirit that is in shadow form that shows as a shadow person, shadow figure, doesn't that it doesn't necessarily mean that the spirit is a negative spirit.
I do not think that just because it shows itself as a dark shadow that makes it
I
evil.
agree.
Um, I don't. I for me, it's gonna have to do more than be a dark shadow to say I'm
Yeah,
evil. Because when I go outside, my shadow is dark. I mean, or I'm not even outside, but y'all know what I'm
no, I'm
saying.
not saying that
My
it's
shadow on the wall
fancy.
is dark.
I'm just saying they're not
Right.
all the same.
But what if the shadow that we're seeing is actually the entity's shadow? What if it's not that they are a shadow person, but what if just because we can't see in this mundane world them
Maybe that's
standing
all that
there,
comes
something in
through
the ethereal world,
is their shadow.
right, something in the ethereal world does capture only enough to project their shadow. So, no, I
I
don't
agree.
believe that a dark, because I think a shadow is a shadow and shadows are dark. So,
And another one, if you feel like you're being watched, a spirit must be present. No, not necessarily. Um, the I recommend if you're feeling that way to invest in an EMF meter from a reputable paranormal investigation place, such as Ghost Stop, um,
right. Don't
because
just buy a cheap one from
maybe
China
right,
because it ain't gonna work.
maybe
Right.
maybe it is that you have some activity around you, and if so, the EMF meter will show that. But you can also walk around and you can check your alarm clocks, the outlets near you when you're feeling watched, because if there is a high level of electromagnetic energy, it is going to cause some of those feelings. It's going to cause that hair raising feeling. It can cause nausea. It can cause auditory and visual hallucinations if it's high enough.
Exactly. Exactly. And I refer to another case that we had. Just didn't go. This was when we were on lockdown, really severe lockdown. But I had someone contact me that was a friend of a friend. So that's kind of we kind of skipped through all of our channels and and kind of went, just me and another team member went in and just, we kind of did the client intake, interview, investigation, and all that at the same time, which that's usually not how we do it all. So, we were just there talking to her, and my personal experience, just when I walked in, I very, very, very strongly felt that this woman had what she was feeling in her own home was her own intuition and I felt this the minute I walked in the door. And what I think I'd even kind of told her this before I got there, that I kind of suspected the dreams, the things that were going on for her was her own intuition trying to wake her up and tell her, hey, something is going on here. Well, we determined through the investigation. I mean, we did the client intake, the investigation, and the reveal all right there in a 2 hour span, because that was really easy. Because, like I said, my gut instinct initially was whatever she thought that was a paranormal thing going on was really her own
Her intuition warning
intuition,
her of
her
something.
spirit, her
Yeah,
spirit guides, her whatever, because something in the physical world
was wrong.
was going on. She had a neighbor, and when I was telling her, I got me and the other person investigating were both getting a real heavy pull that it was something this side of the house. And she lived in kind of a condo kind of thing, and all these houses are stacked up together. And when you couldn't walk around the house, you could only do the little U right there because she was on the end. And I would walk out there and I would just feel like it's here but here. And so, the Lawson and I had, communicated and talked about away from the client, away from, and I was like, I really feel like one of her neighbors might be watching her, one of these people that stalk her or something. And the Lawson was like, same, I feel the kind of the same way. So when we went in and told, I said, I don't know if you, because she had blinds on that side of the house. I said, I don't know if you keep these open at night. I said, but I suggest you close these. I feel like whatever's going on, I told her, I feel like it's, your intuition telling you, what
You gotta peep in
something's
Tom.
going on. And I said, I feel like one of your neighbors over here might be watching you,
Didn't she
and
end up
she
finding
said,
out that it
oh my
was?
God. And she said, yeah, was remember when we told her, she was like, "Oh my God," it was like a light bulb came on for her. She's like, "He didn't even try to hide it. When I was moving in, he just stood out in his driveway with his hands on his hips, watching everything I did." And I said, "Well, baby girl, he is still watching you now that you've moved in. Close your
He is watching
blinds,
everything.
and we did some things, we did a little cleansing and warded the house a little bit and kind of, bounced it back on his ass. And to my knowledge, I need to check in with her on that too. She's not had any more problems, no, but she was having some pretty wild dreams, waking her up. And I did tell her, I felt like, because she had a little fence in the back, and I told her, I feel like you need to be closing that, because if you walk through that fence, he could actually walk up and look right in her bedroom window when she was sleeping. So I told her I'd like close that fence and lock it, and because yeah, I mean, if he's gonna be creepy
Funny,
enough to
you would
stand
be
there and watch you
surprised
like
by
when you're
what your
moving in,
intuition will tell you.
oh, absolutely. Um, Witchcraft, Rosie, you have a question mark with witchcraft. Um, what about witchcraft?
Well, we'll just have to agree to disagree. we look for everything. We look for paranormal um, explanations, but first we look for mundane explanations. However, we are both witches, so might be the wrong tree there. Um,
Yeah, yeah,
just
we,
to go
are
ahead and be
both practicing
transparent.
witches, and
Just yeah. So
yeah,
just and
and I do know that magic does, work from the brain, your intention, So I mean, um, kind of, I'm
science
not real
absolutely
sure
explains a
here
lot
where
of things.
you.
We agree. That's why we go in with the plans to debunk any situation that we go into. Oh no, not you, Rosie. Jax had actually commented on the YouTube version, so that's who we were talking to.
Oh yeah, I think Rosie was just saying when she put up the
No, no, yeah, I was not talking to
witchcraft
her.
question mark. Yeah, she was probably, and no, yeah, it ended up that he was just a creep and just freaking stalking her. Um,
But yeah, no, I just wanted to be clear that we go in. I
Go
know
ahead
we
with
try
what
to
you're.
debunk. We try to find a normal explanation for a supernatural occurrence. If we can't find that, then we attempt to find proof that it is, in fact, a paranormal or supernatural occurrence. But we always start with the normal. But we are also both witches, so we are very much science supporting witches, but we are also witches.
Right, right, and yeah, yes, Rosie. Yeah, Rosie. I think that y'all were talking about that last week. Exactly. Um, and Irene has said that someone is outside selling baked sweet potatoes on coals.
Not a fan of sweet potatoes
This,
myself, but okay.
well, it just depends on how they're made, just,
This just gives
it is kind of odd
a
that
little extra to
a
my
truck is
weirdness, but
selling baked sweet potatoes outside
because it has the
to
word
me.
potatoes in the name, um, I can't bear the fact that they're sweet and potatoes are not supposed to be sweet. But that is also because I have mental disorders. I also can't
So,
eat the green
well, as I
potatoes
was,
during Dr. Seuss week because it's green and it's not supposed to be green.
yeah, that's something about that weirds me out too.
Same with green eggs and
Um,
ham. Mm-mm, can't do it.
Mm-mm. Oh, three trolls tonight. We are on a
We really
roll,
are.
man. Dang. Maybe putting my little troll, my witch troll back there was a bad idea. Maybe she's drawing in the trolls.
Maybe so.
I don't think we've had three trolls on one show ever. So, anyway, I was saying, that seemed kind of odd to me that there was a truck selling sweet potatoes. But then, I don't know, we have trucks in America that sell firewood. We have taco trucks.
Yes, it is
Um,
in fact on
I
YouTube.
mean, so I guess I don't know what's on YouTube.
Trolls. Cade was saying if it's on YouTube, YouTube's
Oh,
full of
troll.
trolls. Yeah.
Oh, trolls. Oh
Yep.
yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, we're on things on the things YouTube because I'm a fucking bitch again about our YouTube channel being taken down, but we will get this week. I think Jess is filling up to it now, and we're gonna take this fucking battle on, and we're gonna
I'm gonna
get our
do
YouTube
that.
back.
I'm
Or
gonna
not? We're gonna start a new one.
yeah, I'm gonna get the other one set up, but I'm also going to send another email in regards to the one that got shut down. So we'll actually we absolutely we're glad that you were here, Jax. We actually go on until 1:30 on Sunday nights though.
Yeah, we're here for another 20 minutes, but if you got to cut out, we understand.
Absolutely.
It is
I have
late.
to adjust how I'm
And yeah,
sitting, so I'm gonna
and
turn the
now, oh,
camera off.
Dr. Swanson's going to chime in now and tell us how good baked sweet potatoes are for us. And yes, we know that, but um, it's not always. I don't know. They got to be like a sweet potato casserole with lots of sugar and pecans and brown sugar and uh um
Yes, I realized after I was complaining about trying to move that I did not mute my mic.
I yeah, I could hear you moving around, so I thought I would mute your mic just in case you said something that we
Whoops.
all well you didn't want all of us to hear. I don't give a fuck. You can say what
Oh,
you
the
want to say.
worst you would hear is "God, I'm fat," because I like to complain that when I go to move.
Exactly, Robinson. Yeah, and I think I forgot to add in that I want the condensed milk in it too. So
I'll take a
now I will.
baked white potato. Oh, thank you.
I like a baked sweet potato every now and then, but I'm with Jess Beauregard on this one. I want a baked white potato loaded in butter and cheese and sour cream and bacon and some freaking
I like
chives.
mine
Oh
with
my god!
butter and
And I'm not
cheese
into the
and
mint.
ranch, and I don't mind green chives though.
Yeah, and mini marshmallows on top. That's just not my thing, Robin. That's a Yankee thing. I'm just not into the marshmallow on top of my.
It's hit or miss. It's hit
Mm-mm.
or miss. I've got some family members who do it with mini marshmallows on top, and then I have some that do not, and they're all from the South. They're all from the same town.
Well, well, I thought my mom always told me that marshmallow thing was the Yankee and my grandma. Um, because like what she would do the pan of with the marshmallow on top stuff, but then always do the casserole too. And I mean, she was really the only one that ever ate them nasty old things with the marshmallows. Yeah. Now Lenny eats the hell out of them that way, but I'm thinking the same thing, Rosie. I don't know how the fuck do we get from paranormal equipment and myths and misconceptions about paranormal.
Look,
Now we're on damn
before we
sweet
started,
potatoes.
before we started, I looked at you and I said, "Are you underestimating our ability to get off topic?" Because
I
she didn't
know.
think we would need the F bomb counter tonight because we weren't talking about anything that was super, um, hot button type issue, right? And I said,
Right.
do you really underestimate our ability to get off topic? And do you underestimate your ability to feel passionate about something? Anything.
What exactly? So yeah, and here we are. I think you need to change that to
I
13 now. I think I broke the dozen barrier.
think so.
Um,
And
I
yes, Jade is correct. ADHD.
to be honest, Rosie, I have tried, but it's always, that's is he's on at a time. My daughter with her two small children, year old and 7 months old, live here. So that is at a time that we're getting dinner done or baths done and the kids are wide open or it's freaking raining and I can't get a signal. Um, I am going, it's like a goal that I'm going to sit down and watch a whole episode of Howard because I love Howard, and of course, want to support everybody on the Things Network. And let me plug that again for everybody watching. Y'all, watch all the shows on Things. If we're not your thing, then maybe the next show will be your thing.
There's a big variety
But
of topics.
check everybody out. There's a lot of good shows on. I've seen bits and pieces, Rosie, of Howard shows, but like it always somehow gets interrupted. The phone will ring or the kids need something. But one of these days, and soon, I'm gonna be able to sit down. I would like to watch at least one episode of every show on Things,
Hmm.
just because all y'all are my brothers and sisters out there, and want to be able to like genuinely support you and be able to tell people, oh, you're into this, well, go watch this show at this time. So that's hopefully I can get that done. I don't want to set super big goals for myself and overload myself. But maybe by the end of February, I can get through, half of the, because we got a lot of shows on the Things
Well, and
Network.
then for
So
me,
maybe I can get
I
through, at least one
actually
episode, of half of them.
I actually do have two kids. My kids are 11 and 8, and while they're not, super young anymore, what they are is loud. They're very loud.
Well, and that's
And then
here
it's really
too.
hard. And then on top of that, I'm a chronic pain sufferer. So it is hit or miss. Y'all see me for this, couple of hours a week, but there's a lot of times where I'm just laid up in the bed unable to focus or do anything because of the pain. So, it's hard to find the time.
Well, and Rosie, we're glad to be here on this late show too, and that's what, when we first started talking about or two things about doing a show, we were kind of having a hard time fitting in the schedule
Yeah, finding a
because
time that would work for both
of
of us.
kids at Jess's house, kids at our house, where it could be quiet. Excuse me, y'all. I do have two grandbabies and a daughter that lives here with me, and then Jessie that we see in the comments all the time. Jessie Wilson is my oldest daughter, and she has four children, and they're over here. They usually will come over on Fridays, and some of the kids may stay the weekend. All of them, except the littlest one, may stay. So it can
The
be
fun of
really
being a
loud here.
grandma. The fun part of being a grandma.
Right. So, like I said, it can be loud. So it was hard for us to get in a schedule, or to work in with the Things Network because we were one of the last, I guess, to sign in, on the schedule. We didn't maybe get, but we like our 9 or now our 10 to 11 on Thursdays because usually all the kids are in bed for both houses by then. And this show on Sunday nights, this is of course become my fucking favorite because I could say fuck as many times as I want to say fuck and not feel like I'm going to be in trouble by anybody. And I know that it's like, I don't know, 10 o'clock in California or somewhere, but hopefully, guess we just need to get a little rated R thing and just put up on,
Well, we
our
can add a
thing.
little a little NC-17.
Right, right.
Well,
Um,
apparently you're
well,
not the
Rosie,
only
you've
one
heard
who's
about us.
heard
I
about
hope you've
us.
heard.
Apparently, Jack's heard about us from the hater. So, we're just getting around.
Right, right. So, um, um, it's well, Rosie, you're on the same time zone we are. It's 1:18 here.
Yeah,
Um,
we're in Alabama in
oh,
case that wasn't clear.
Rosie from Howard. Okay, well, Lord
Oh,
only
okay.
knows what Howard may
Oh
have told
God.
you about.
Oh.
That that's a little terrifying that it come from. No, that I know that's not true. Howard's a good guy, and we love Howard, but it's because of Howard that we're here on Things because now I did see the Things Network, and then there was another one. I didn't really understand what it was about. I mean, I I thought it was something that it wasn't. Um,
I'm sure
so
he said nice
uh,
things.
it's because of Howard, that we're here
Yeah,
doing this show. And so,
absolutely. We owe him
I
a
guess I
apology as
don't
well.
plug Howard enough, that I'm, so grateful to Howard too for introducing us to things and Jeremy. And because if not for Howard, we wouldn't be here.
And I want to stop and say real quick to the person that's in the room with me, if you think I didn't see your comment and you won't have to pay for that later, you have not been paying attention. Okay. Kate is in the same
Well, yes, I know that
room. I meant
the
for
Kate is
everyone
in the same room
else.
there and up here.
They
Right,
are in
right,
the
right.
same room, and that was my comment that they said that's what she said about. So because I said
Mm-hmm.
we just get around.
Right,
Disrespectful.
right, right.
Disrespectful.
It's just so fucking disrespectful. Just disrespectful. So now, our since we're on Terry's F bomb thing here, we'll let you know that so Jess has started a new thing on our Thursday night show. That it is how many days can Terry
It's an
go
F
without
bomb
saying the F
injury.
bomb?
An F bomb
Without an
injury.
F bomb injury. Yeah, so yeah, we've got the F bomb counter on Saturday or Sunday nights. I've actually had someone say that they were actually going to join the show just to see how far the F bomb counter got. So, if you join to see the F bomb counter,
Jesse said put Kate on
hey,
camera.
Gabe. I was gonna say to Jesse, I don't think that happened.
Well,
So
see,
I'm surprised,
they're
Jesse.
sick as well. Um, they actually were coming up for a 1 week long visit, and then we all got sick, and it was just like I was scared I'd fall asleep trying to drive home by myself as bad as I felt. They didn't feel good, didn't want to go home and take it home to get their roommate sick, and plus it's been so long, you know.
Right.
It's been a while since we were face to face,
Well,
but
I mean, and now, I mean, it's like y'all didn't even get their vacation because y'all been
right,
sick. So vacation starts over again when y'all aren't sick. So, and yes, Rosie, we do like to say that Jess and I probably suffer from it more so than Jess. I'm older, so I've had more years experience. But we're like what we like to say, a biker and a sailor got together and went to the sleaziest dive bar they could find and produced our potty
with a
mouths.
construction worker dialect.
That's yeah, and yeah, there was a construction worker jerking off in there somewhere too that and that added all that to our potty mouths. So, yeah, now it's how bad can Terry's mouth be? I guess. So, I try to do better, but it just never fucking fails.
A coal miner does have a pretty bad mouth, but you see, my grandmother was a secretary at Jim Walter Coal Mines for decades. I got to go along, and she would pay me to file her paperwork for her, so she didn't have to do it. Oh Lord. So, yeah, got a little bit of coal miner in there too. Don't worry.
Jesse, did you say 14? When I typed in 14, did it come up as all of our comments? So, great minds think alike, I guess. So, of course, Jess and I do these talks. It's like, okay, well, what are we going to talk about? And because she's been sick, we've not really talked a lot. We have talked about we want to be on a better
And then we
schedule.
have not
We
proceeded
want
to
to bring
not
y'all a good
do a
show.
schedule because, you know, we've been sick. Oh yeah, we have
But
discussed
yeah,
this. I forgot
because
about
we
that.
just can't get our fucking shit together over here. So, um, anyway, we do want to bring a good show to y'all every time. We don't want it just to be about Terry's F bomb counter. We always hope that we can teach you something, enlighten you about something, spark an interest in something. So if you have ideas, something you want to talk about, paranormal, weird, witchy, throw it at us, and let
There's an
us
email
dig up
address
some
scrolling at
research.
the bottom of the screen. You can
Yeah,
email any
yeah.
to, or
Watch the email.
you can private message the spirit page. You can message either one of our Facebooks. Hit or miss on whether we're going to notice it in the spam folder right away, but we'll try.
Yeah. If you're friends with us on Facebook, send us a message on Facebook. You can do that. Tonight it made me hungry too. I think when I get off of here, I'm gonna have to go scrounge around in the kitchen for something. Um, but what my point I was getting to was, my husband brought up something. He said, y'all could do like go and watch true paranormal movies. movies that have been made off of
Mm-hmm.
supposed real paranormal activity, and we could discuss those, and give our thoughts and theories, and things like that. So if that's something that y'all would be interested, we could do that. Kind
We
of
always
like
take
a
suggestions for
paranormal,
movies you'd like us to see and discuss as well. As long as it's paranormal related.
right? Kind of like a yeah, paranormal movie club thing, kind of going. Um, or we could sit here and I could be your damn DJ and I can play some kick ass fucking music for you. But no, really, we do. We want y'all to interact with us. We want y'all to share us. We want to grow the show. Not that we don't just love, having a few of y'all here, but, obviously we're here to get the name of our team out there so people know who we are. Because a lot of times people don't know they have paranormal activity and they don't know who to call. So that's why we're
And
out here.
contrary to popular belief,
We're not out here just to
Ghostbusters is
be
not who you call.
right. And it's not, we're not, Jess and I can talk to each other, and we do. We can talk to each other all day long about this kind of stuff and not be on camera. So we're here for y'all, for everybody out there in the World Wide Web. So, we really want your suggestions. We want you to share us, like us, love us, hate us, tell your friends to join the show. Um, we would, 2022 is going to tell us a lot. uh, I'm not going to say that we're going to be here doing this Facebook thing forever, because you just never know. But if we grow, a big audience, then yeah, we're going to stick around.
Yeah.
So yeah, just tell everybody we're here, and like I said, love us, like us, hate us, whatever. But just tell everybody we're here. Share us. 2020 season 3, and we are, Spirit is 3 years old now, so yes, we are season 3, but technically we're in season 1 of the Things Network, and
But
being live out here
we
on
are in
in the
season
World Wide
we
Web.
are in season 3 of the year 2020 because you know pandemic. We're in a panini right now.
Well, this is true. Yeah, we all kind of got stuck in 2020. Um, yeah, that was really sad. I hated to see that today that Bob Saget
Kate told me that a few minutes ago.
passed away. Um, yeah, and I was thinking that he was kind of like around my age, which that's it's always kind of a kick in my ass when people around my age, and there has been a lot of death and a lot of sickness, going on. Not in my family. Well, we did have death and sickness, but not as of these
But as
past
of the
few weeks,
world,
but as of the world. And like tonight, Lonnie and I were having a conversation about what happens if I go before you and vice versa. And these are not conversations that anybody, excuse me,
so how y'all doing?
sorry about that, y'all. So anyway, these are not conversations that anyone ever wants to have,
Of course not.
but and it's not just for us old people, because unfortunately shit happens every day to people. And I just think that we're going to kind of end on a serious note tonight, that these are conversations you need to have with your people. Express your wishes, and let them know. um because people change. At one time, my husband and I both, wanted to be. Well, I never wanted to be buried. Let me rephrase that. Being buried terrified me, but I, wasn't really looking at all the options, and just thought, that's just the way you do things. But now I know differently, and like I said, I know Jesse's like, how's your mom and them? Because she doesn't want to have this conversation.
Oh no, that was
But
because I
I'm
said,
right
"Hey,
now. I'm
how y'all
watching.
doing?" They're delayed
Oh,
behind
okay.
us.
Um. Oh, I gotcha. Um. A very good friend of mine right now is watching both of her parents on a ventilator, and we've come to this time in the world where things like that can happen and change just overnight.
Yep,
And I'm not talking about COVID. But
in general,
COVID does
just in general.
like makes it get, yeah, it's like to the 10th power now because
Yeah,
it can
basically,
happen.
basically, you need a will, you need a living will, and you need to make sure that your wishes for how your body is handled after death is all taken care of, no matter how old or
Is
young you are,
known, by your loved ones.
because they don't know if you don't tell them.
Right, right, because right, and speaking on my own daughters, I don't really know, what their wishes would be should something happen to them. So I mean, these are conversations that no one ever wants to have, but they're important conversations, and so that's why I kind of thought it was important to kind of end the show tonight on a serious note with, you know, talk to your loved ones about these
Basically,
things. Let them know what you want done because fucking shit can happen, and you might be gone tomorrow. And there's nothing worse for a family than trying to figure out, oh my God, did they have a will? Did they have insurance? Man, and all that is your personal choice whether you do or don't have a will or you don't, have insurance. I'm not
but
saying
at
everybody
least
run out
make
and buy
sure
life
somebody
insurance.
knows
What
what you
I'm
want to do
saying,
with what you want done with your body after you pass. At least that
right,
part.
for
I don't
example, for
want a
me,
Christian funeral
they,
ever. I don't want a Christian wake.
I do
I don't want a
not,
Christian
yeah,
funeral. I want to be cremated and I want something that's going to celebrate my life, but I do not want it to be Christian. I am not Christian, but my entire family is.
right. And I have gone so far as to research that I know now you can do a home funeral, which is basically, and I don't want a funeral. I mean, there's so much money, especially in America. I don't know how it is in other countries, but we dump a ton of money into someone's death, you know, and it's not for the dead person because they're dead. Let's face it, they're fucking dead. They don't know how
Funerals are for the living.
much, they don't care how much you spent on that coffin. They don't care how much you spent on flowers. They don't care how many people showed up at the funeral. What they care about is the legacy they left, the love they left behind. And for me, I want, if my family needs time with me in the state of Alabama, you only have so many hours. If I die in the hospital, they can be there with me for so many hours. I do not want to be embalmed, so that gives them very short
Well, and
time
I want that
to
money
get
to
me to the
be
crematorium.
used for my family and their needs. I don't want that money being dumped into
Exactly.
all of that.
I don't want everybody getting together and let's play fake, oh,
If everybody,
everybody's
if
how
my
wonderful.
actual close loved ones want to do some sort of a celebration of life, or maybe they want to invite the family over and they're going to cook. It's some, if they want to do something like that, that is up to them. I don't want any of it.
Right, and
But
that's
as
kind
long
of,
as they
me too.
respect what I
Y'all want
want
to do
to
a
happen
cookout
to
or
my
something like
body and
that.
that I do not want anything Christian, I don't care from there.
And well, I want, I want to be cremated pretty quickly because I don't want to be embalmed and all that. I don't want people coming and touching my dead body and taking pictures. And Jesse, we really don't have a time limit tonight because nobody follows us, so we don't have to like be right on the dot. So we
Yeah.
can go a few minutes over. Especially when we're talking about something as important as getting this message out to people. Um, anyway, as I was saying, no one bombing, get me to the crematorium, and then I want to be a tree, and if y'all want to have a memorial service or, whatever surrounding my tree, then y'all can do that. But yeah, ain't nobody gonna touch my dead body. Jesse said she's taking selfies.
And putting you in a body
And
farm.
you are not putting me in the body farm. I will fucking haunt your ass for it. I will haunt you so bad, Jesse Wilson,
But
that
you know what? I'm going
you'll
to say
you'll be
something
praying for
controversial
all the
here. I'm going to be
gods.
controversial here. I would prefer to be put in a body farm than embalmed and buried. That is how much I despise being embalmed and buried. Just going to put that out
Well,
there.
when Jesse says body farm, that's what she's talking about, Jess. Is she's talking about
Oh.
being embalmed and because I call the cemetery a body farm.
Ah, see,
Now,
I thought,
Jesse, there is
for
an actual
scientists to study
body
semen and
farm,
things like that, you can
right?
donate your body to that.
Right, and the Twinkie found that place in Tennessee that's the body
Hmm.
farm, where they study the rate of
Yeah.
decomposition and stuff like that. Um, so, um, yeah, I would much rather go into a place like that than be embalmed and buried. And I watched too many
You say
forensic
you
files
ain't
and
scared of
seeing
a haunting, but the first time that spirit box told you to get out, you didn't see hide nor tail of you, hide nor hair. Not a bit. You was gone.
exactly, and I could fuck her up. I could fuck her up with a
I want a
haunting.
pull
That
string, not a
girl,
push button.
I I'd get her. I'm gonna get her in the bathroom every time she's by herself. If she fucks with me after I'm dead, I'm gonna get her in the bathroom every time.
Anyways, well, I have managed
Because
to
I
make
know
my
that I'm not the
half
only
up,
person that ever thinks.
so I am going to go ahead and sign off for the evening because he has to work tomorrow.
Yeah, we do need to wrap it up. But I think we are like at 18 or 19 on the F bomb counter here. And yeah, we'll wrap it up for tonight. So yeah, y'all just have those important talks with your family.
Well,
Let
we're going
everybody
to
know
say
what your
it's
wishes are.
10. If it's not a 20 yet, it will be shortly. So,
Ooh, Irene
anyways,
got free
yeah.
milk
Basically,
samples.
it's basically, yeah. Decide what you want to happen
All
with
right,
your
Jesse,
body.
end us on what's yeah, what's our last line of the night?
I want to be stuffed and I want to pull string with a voice box when I die.